My name is Chelsea Gilligan, and I am a creative. I feel like I do a lot of things. I am an actor, a model, a ceramicist, a food lover, and I have my own production company. My interest into acting and modeling came very early. I grew up in a household where my stepdad and mom had a publicity firm. And so I grew up on sets, and I grew up in Huntington Beach. And we traveled from Huntington Beach to LA all the time. And I remember seeing the Hollywood sign. And I don't know, I guess from a young age, I always had this sense of wonder and just this huge imagination that I didn't really know what to do with. And I also grew up in a house where a lot of my family members and my parents continued to try new things. They had multiple businesses, and I think that's where a lot of my multiple avenues came from, not being afraid to fail and not being afraid to try. But my mom had a rule. I couldn't start in the arts until I was 18. So I waited and waited and waited. And finally at 18, I entered a pageant, Miss California Teen USA. I didn't win. I got first runner up. And then I thought, you know what, I'm going to try this again. So I did it the next year and I ended up winning. And through the pageant, I got a modeling agent and I moved to LA and I stayed in a model apartment that had cockroaches and bunk beds, and it wasn't great. It was not the glamorous modeling life I thought it was going to be. But thankfully, shortly after I started working, and I was able to get my own apartment, and I'm still doing it. For acting, it was for Star-Crossed on the CW many moons ago. It was the first time I ever tested for something. I think I was 19 or 20, and I remember just wanting it so bad. And we went through the whole process of testing and then testing again for network. And I remember me leaving the room. And usually you feel like you bombed it. Like, you really don't feel good about it sometimes because you never know. It's completely out of your hands. And I remember leaving the room and waiting for my dad to pick me up because I lived in New York at the time. I didn't have a car here. And the reader, I saw her driving away and she looked at me and she went, and I was like, did I get it? No, I probably didn't get it. She's just being really nice to me. It's totally fine. I didn't get it. And then I got it. And so I think me booking that through CBS and the CW, that was something I'll never forget. I didn't have any credits, and they gave me a chance on a curly-haired, buck-toothed chick who was just trying to try and process what she was going through during the time, and I'm really grateful for that. No, I could not imagine a life not making art and not being creative. For me, doing my day-to-day, I have to be creative to decompress. It brings me so much joy and happiness. And I mean, even just the basics of picking out your outfit can be super creative, or, the next dish you create for dinner. It's hard not to be creative, in my opinion, because I feel like there's so much art in anything that anybody does. And it should be celebrated, no matter how big or small. Dr. Seuss. Horton Hears a Who. I'm gonna get emotional. I would say to her that it's okay to be seen, and it's okay to take up space. And when you get older, you will. And you are loved, and you did it. You're doing it. Everything that you wanted to do, you're doing it, and you can do it. I knew a question like that was coming, and I thought I prepared for it, and I didn't. Okay. Creativity means that I allow myself to be fully present, um, to acknowledge that there's so many different ways to do one thing. Um, and creativity is ultimately fun. Like I love imagining there's purple clouds in the sky, or like I'm going to go inside and make a souffle. Like I feel like it's a big part of life to be creative, and there's nothing better. It's a free gift that you get to access. So why not use it to the highest degree? My creativity helps me come alive for sure. Especially when I'm cooking. Cooking was my first love. It was a safe outlet for me to create and be myself and feel seen, really. And so I feel like from that process on, I allowed myself to continue to be creative, and that in turn allowed me to be alive and to want to succeed and to want to try. And yeah. Oh, yeah. As I deep breath and sigh. This pandemic has taught me a lot about myself. It's taught me to not procrastinate. It's definitely taught me that we're not promised tomorrow, and that I have to live outside my comfort zone. Through the pandemic, I created a cooking show that has made little Chelsea so joyous. Like, I can't even tell you how happy I am that I started doing it. And it's just me in my kitchen cooking. And I loved it. The pandemic definitely taught me to be, I'm already grateful, but more grateful for my family and for my friends, and to not take anything for granted. And it allowed my creativity to kind of come back. It forced me to really sit down and be idle and think about what I want, think about how I can execute myself to the highest degree and what that looks like. And I'm human, and I'm still evolving into, what future Chelsea's going to create or look like. But it's been a ride. The pandemic was a ride, and I'm glad to be getting off of it, to be honest. Very happy. It'd definitely be to keep creating what I want to see online. I feel like a lot of people get caught up in the idea that, oh, well, it's oversaturated and there's so many people doing that one thing. But I think we all need to remind ourselves that there's no you out there. We're all individuals, and we all have something to add. And I just want to continue to put out things that I love and make people smile, and continue to work on myself to be the best person that I can be. Give you buttons to work with.